By connecting the keyboard to the filters, a melody can be...
By using a light pen, the composer is telling the computer what pre-recorded sounds he wants to use. He can easily add or subtract instruments, pitches, and rhythms.
My first real professional opportunity came actually through Robert Moody, who was here at the Arizona Music Festival. I was 16 and at Brevard Music Center in North Carolina, where he was the chorus master, 10 years older than me. Going to a church school that had a great choir, I had written some choral music and presented it to Bob when I was at Brevard that summer. And he loved it, and then went back to his youth orchestra in Indiana and commissioned a piece for me when I was in high school. Next thing I knew, I was running for orchestra and really studying a lot of scores in a way that I had never really done before. I just listened to music, orchestral music, kind of working backwards from, like, you know, Pink Floyd to, you know, Gershwin. I started spinning records in San Francisco in about 2001. At first, these things were very separate. You know, I was writing purely orchestral acoustic pieces for, like, the Phoenix Symphony, while getting more and more busy spinning records around San Francisco and frankly getting a little bit more of a clue in how you do it, because it's one of those things that looks a lot easier than it is. It's hard to really keep a good mix going for 3 hours and do something that's interesting yet also working for the room. It was in about 2002 or 3 that I decided that there must be a really pregnant opportunity there to take some of these really visceral electronic rhythms and textures and sonorities and infuse them with orchestral writing. I think of the electronica element in my music as being an extension of the percussion section into the realm of the imaginative. Because it not only is it very rhythmic, but it's also kind of anything you want. I mean, you know, I love throwing curveballs at the percussion section. Before I got interested in electronics, I mean, my piece, Ode, purely acoustic piece, has a shotgun that's just cocked, because the cocking of a shotgun is a very specific sound. So there are all kinds of things you can do that in the electronics. And I feel like it's kind of like, if this, you know, if your palette with the percussion section is here, suddenly it kind of goes off to infinity with the electronics. At the center of electronic music, or electronica, is dance music. These are dance rhythms, and the beat is king. But the more I got into that world of combining them, the more I realized there's a whole other opportunity that goes beyond beats. And that's what I call theatrics. Like, you know, going to a place, you know, going to Antarctica, or being in the deep south with all these kind of like layers of insects. Or going to the outer edge of the atmosphere, floating around with Ed White. There's even a movement called Gemini and the Solar Wind that incorporates recordings from NASA. It's like a setting to music of the 1965 first American spacewalk. And so you have all these voices coming, you know, these like Houston ground control to Ed White, the astronaut, as he's floating in space. So it really is kind of it's all about sort of exploring kind of trippy, kind of somehow off-kilter landscapes.
Go back in.
I always loved words. I always loved writing, and there was this issue of content. Like, what are the stories about, and you know, what are you saying about life, and what are you doing? And I guess I took solace in when I was starting to compose that you didn't have to really answer those questions. At least this is what I thought. I thought, you know, I can just write a piano sonata, and I can have it move you viscerally, but I don't have to, you know, figure out a moral of the story. The more that I got interested in the bigger picture, suddenly the world started to come back into what I was writing. One of the movements is a big exploration of Katrina, deals with the destructive power of water. Some of the reasons I got into music were because I love certain chords, I love certain harmonies, and I still love those things. But I found that as I zoom out, I'm finding that there are other things that are kind of coming into the perspective of the edge of the frame, and I'm like, wow, there are things about being a human that you really deal with, and not necessarily just in an abstract way. You can really tackle them. If folks are told that there's a DJ who's writing for the orchestra, and you're gonna come and get your mind blown like you're at a club, and there are gonna be people doing head spins in the aisles, you can't really deliver on that. The space of a concert hall is too different from a club. And so at the end of the day, I mean, I have to be clear, my symphonic music exists for the concert hall, and the electronics are within the orchestra as a kind of super percussion section. Folks are politely puzzled in the classical world, but as soon as I start rehearsing a piece with an orchestra and they see that I really do respect and love the orchestra, and I don't intend to just drown it with electronic sounds or just bring in a techno track and kind of orchestrate BS around it, then they I think kind of ease up a little bit and say, okay, there's actually more going on than maybe the first image that they might conjure up when I say that I got into electroacoustic music because of DJing.